Hello, my name's Vukov and I'm an assistant professor of philosophy at Loyola University Chicago. Today, I want to tell you about a philosophical position called compatibilism, and the people who believe in it, compatibilists. As we'll see, compatibilists have a great way of showing that science has not and will not disprove the existence of free will. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. For now, I want you to imagine this. Imagine that from the beginning of time, from the moment of the Big Bang, or the moment God created the universe, all of history was determined. Every Super Bowl winner, what you will eat for lunch tomorrow, what you will eat for lunch 10 years from now, all of it was set in stone. Are you imagining this? This picture is called determinism. According to determinism, everything that ever happens was determined from the very beginning of time. Not only big events like elections, but also small events like deciding on your outfit for the day. If determinism is true, there is and always has been only one way things will go. Now, we don't yet know if determinism is true, but if it was true, you might think that there simply couldn't be free will. After all, if what you will eat for lunch tomorrow was determined from the beginning of time, you might think that your decision of what to eat for lunch tomorrow couldn't be free. But compatibilists would disagree. In fact, compatibilists have the name that they do because they believe free will is compatible with determinism. If you're a compatibilist, you don't think there is anything wrong with saying that free will exists and determinism is true. How do compatibilists defend their position? Well, consider the following. When you think about a decision being free, what seems to matter most is that you're able to think through your decision and then make it without anyone forcing you to make it. For example, when I say that I am freely choosing what to eat for lunch, what I mean is that I've thought about what I want to eat, and that no one is forcing me to eat one thing rather than something else. Likewise, if someone were holding a gun to my head and making me choose to eat something for lunch, we would say that my action wasn't free, precisely because someone was forcing me to do it. So far, so good. But let's think a little more carefully about this example. Suppose that after thinking about what I want to eat, I decide on a burrito. Moreover, suppose that no one is forcing me to eat a burrito. I rather choose to eat a burrito because, well, I like burritos. In this case, compatibilists would say that I freely choose to eat a burrito. According to compatibilists, after all it takes for an action to be free is for me to make the decision based on my own thinking and without being forced to do it. But what if determinism is true? What if I had been determined to eat that burrito since the moment of the Big Bang? According to compatibilists, it doesn't matter. Why? Well, whether I am determined to do something is a separate issue from whether anyone is forcing me to do something. Just because someone forces me to do something doesn't mean I am determined to do it. And just because I am determined to do something doesn't mean that someone is forcing me to do it. So even if I was determined to eat a burrito from the beginning of time, that doesn't mean anyone is forcing me to eat the burrito. According to compatibilism, then, there is nothing wrong with thinking that I am determined to eat the burrito and also that I am free to eat the burrito. Free will and determinism are compatible, or so compatibilists contend. But what does this have to do with science? Plenty. Science, after all, seeks to describe and explain how certain kinds of events are caused by other kinds of events. Science seeks to describe and explain why chemicals interact with each other in the way that they do, why people act in the way that they do, and so on. So suppose science was able to do this with perfect accuracy. It can't do this yet, of course, but suppose someday in the future, scientists could describe all the processes behind every physical event that happens, every action you take, every feeling you have. Suppose, in short, that scientists prove determinism is true and can perfectly predict everything that will ever happen. Even then, science would not be able to convince compatibilists that there is no free will. According to compatibilists, after all, free will and determinism are compatible with each other. As long as you aren't being forced to do something, compatibilists argue, you do it freely, even if you were determined to do it. So even if scientists could perfectly predict everything you do, there could still be free will. Compatibilism, therefore, offers a great way of showing that science has not, and never will, disprove the existence of free will. At any rate, that's an introduction to compatibilism. You can find out more about it both online and in philosophy books. I hope you decide to learn more about compatibilism because we've only scratched the surface today. In the meantime, happy National Speech and Debate Education Day.